Is liberty dying where you live? Escape to Keene at freekeene.com.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Ready to start?
I believe so.
Ready to start? All right, this is on State versus Derrick Wharton. 2 complaints.
We do have 2. There is a default one that I didn't know if the court wanted to have that as part of it. The state's prepared. Mr. Horton didn't appear, and he was found in default. It looks like back on March 3rd.
Aware of that one?
I'm not aware of that one.
I remember it, but I don't remember the same kind of thing.
It's parking, and I mean, the state's prepared with their witness, but we understand that that may not be procedurally
I mean,
correct.
it's a default. You have to address that, I guess.
From my memory, should I say?
All right.
All right, well, from my memory, I received a letter in the mail telling me the date, and then, to my surprise, I received another letter giving a new date. Now, I'm not aware if I missed the...
Well, these 2, you got a new day because it was a scheduling problem with the court. We had to reschedule these 2.
Oh, okay.
The other one was one that it was an arraignment date, and again, I remember it, but I don't remember when it was.
I was very shocked that he wasn't here, because he usually is.
There's no bench fire or anything.
Right.
But it was just placed in default. That's a third one. It's not either of these 2.
I see. Okay.
So you need to get that squared away because you're technically in default on that, which can have some consequences.
Right.
Okay. Well, my intention is to clear everything up today. I want to appear where I'm supposed to, on the day I'm supposed to.
If you find that complaint,
I have the state's copy here, and we're ready to go if the court could find it. If not, then
if you want to, I'm gathering that if you saw that complaint, you'd ask the court to reopen it and have any trial on it, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I'll assume that that's what you're saying. We'll reopen that case. I'll try all 3 today and get them all clear.
Sounds great.
One way. All right. Dude, why don't you show him a copy of the default one, that you can just make sure he's familiar with that one.
Thank you.
You have the first witness come on up while we're doing that?
I'd say to call Lynn Eichmann, very bad at pronouncing her last name, so I apologize.
I guess the only question I'd ask is if you're ready, if you have the evidence for the third one.
I have the evidence for all 3.
Okay.
If we just go on 2, that's fine as well with the state. That would be that discretion of the court.
Okay. You need it? All right, please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm anything you say will be the truth? Have a seat, please, and give me your name.
Name's Linda Russo.
How do you spell your last name?
D as in David, E-S as in Sam, R-U-I-S-S, E-A-U-X.
How are you employed?
I work for the Parking Services, City of Keene,
How long have you been employed there?
15 years.
I don't know if you, I can't hear, I can barely hear what you say.
15 years.
Can that might be moved? Just bend that a little bit toward you and then you try to speak up. Can you hear okay?
All right.
Yes.
And you're employed as a parking officer, you said?
Yes.
Parking enforcement officer through the city. And can you describe your duties as a parking enforcement officer, what they are?
Just the enforcement of any ordinances as pertains to parking.
And what type of parking meters are used in the city of Keene?
Electronic parking meters.
And how do they operate to keep time?
They're coin operated.
And that's a certain amount of coins gives you a certain amount of time.
Correct.
Do you know what the ratio is for the court's information?
Well, it depends. You mean how much time you get for each coin?
Yes.
Okay, well, if it's in a 2-hour zone, it's a quarter for half an hour.
Okay.
10 minutes for, 12 minutes for a dime and 6 for a nickel.
And how are the meters maintained for the city? The parking division maintains them.
Correct.
And if one of the meters would happen to somehow not be working properly, does it somehow alert the parking employees that there's something wrong, needs some attention?
Right.
And how does it do that?
Well, if it's a jam, meaning if coins are jammed in it, it'll say fail on the screen. And if it's a battery problem, it'll say dead on the screen, or it'll give you an error message.
Okay, so it has an error message of some type. As you're walking, you're alerted to that, and then you make the
You
appropriate
can see it
changes.
from the front and the back.
And if I could draw your attention to September 29th of 2014, at approximately 12:05 p.m., were you on duty that day?
Correct.
And do you recall issuing a ticket to a black 2000 BMW four-door with New Hampshire registration 3651899?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to grip this. Five statements in for some reason. And do you recall where that car was parked?
Which ticket, November?
On September 29, 2014.
No, not without seeing the ticket.
Your Honor, if I may approach. On your issuing of parking tickets, you issue tickets through an electronic means, and that device prints out a ticket.
Yes,
Is this a ticket that it prints out?
yes,
And from that, can you determine where the parking infraction was and the date and time that it occurred?
yes.
And what the, where,
Location, the meter number, the date and the time.
if you could hold that. In using, so that's the ticket that would print out when you issued an infraction. The state would like to enter this as exhibit number 1.
Any objection?
No objections. And if I can direct your attention to that. Yeah, sorry, thank you. And judging from the thing that was entered,
Can you see that again?
exhibit number 1, you can tell where the car was parked at the time of the issuance of the ticket, correct?
Yes,
Can you say where that is, please?
yes, it's on Main Street.
And to issue a ticket for, what was that ticket issued for?
Expired meter,
So to issue a ticket for that, it would have to, the meter would read something?
0,
Does it say anything else, or is it just 0?
0.
And based on your training and experience as a parking enforcement officer, was there any indication that that meter wasn't functioning properly that day? And when you come upon an infraction such as this, what steps do you take in the issuance of the ticket?
Well, you determine first that it is actually expired, and then you look at the vehicle to make sure there isn't any permits as far as like handicap. And then you look at the license plate and everything in the color and make on the vehicle.
And then what do you do with
Enter
that?
it into that, and then it prints out date and time.
And when you get the ticket printout, what do you do then?
Put it in the envelope and attach it to the vehicle via the windshield wiper.
Thank you, that's all for that. And if I can direct your attention to November 26th, 2014, approximately 9:40 in the morning. Were you on duty that day?
Yes,
What was the date again, please? What was the date again?
November 26th, 2014.
And
shown. Do you recognize this? What is,
Winter Street, yes.
would this be another parking ticket that has been issued?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would ask that this be entered as State's Exhibit number 2.
Any objection to that?
No objections.
I believe she'll have to refer to it a little bit.
Okay.
And then using State's Exhibit 2, that's another infraction for an expired meter, yes?
Correct.
And it's written on what type of vehicle?
A black BMW, 365-1899, New Hampshire registration.
And that's the same registration as the one before.
Yes.
And then where was that ticket issued?
That one, the latter one was Winter Street.
Winter Street. And what is that ticket issued under? What's the infraction?
Expired meter.
And on that day, did you have any indication through your training experience that the meter that was expired was not in proper working order that day?
No.
And the state would like to approach on. You recognize this document?
Yes.
Can you tell me what it is?
It's a registration for a copy of, for a BMW 2000.
It's a certified copy of the New Hampshire motor vehicle registration. Your Honor, we've asked that this be entered as exhibit.
Do you need to see that?
No, well, all right. Okay, looks good.
Okay. No objection.
No objection.
Number 3. This is 3 pages.
I believe it was supposed to be stapled together in the staple.
Staples off, but it's 3 pages that you intend to introduce here as Exhibit 3? It's these 3 pages you intend to introduce?
Yes.
I'm just going to put a paper.
Thank you. And in looking at State's Exhibit 3, can you tell me what the license plate number is for that registration? Were you able to see?
It's 365-1899.
And that's the same number that was issued the parking tickets to? It's the
Correct.
same type of vehicle?
Yes.
And who is that registration for?
It looks like a Derrick J. Horton,
And what's the address listed?
73 Leverett Street in Keene, 03431.
And do you, other than being in court today, do you recognize Mr. Horton?
Somewhat.
Do you see him in the courtroom here today?
Yes, he's sitting right here.
Your Honor, the state would ask that the witness identify him. There's no further questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Horton, do you have any questions of this witness?
I have no questions for this witness.
All right, you can have a seat. Thank you.
The state would ask to call Jan McDermott.
Jane.
Jane McDermott, backwards, I'm sorry.
Please raise your right hand and swear affirming that you say the truth.
Yes.
Have a seat and give me your name, please.
Jane McDermott.
MC capital D.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Can you tell us how you're employed?
I'm a parking officer with parking services in Keene, New Hampshire.
How long have you worked there?
3 years.
And can you briefly describe your duties as a parking enforcement officer?
We uphold all parking ordinances in the city.
And you're familiar with the equipment that's used by the city in its parking meters?
Yes.
Can you briefly describe what type of parking meters the city uses?
We have quartz timed meters that use coins to put time on the meters.
And you're familiar with how they're maintained
Yes.
and how so? How are they maintained?
As far as if they break down and stuff, and we bring them in and we have different mechanisms we can put in them. Take them apart, put them back together again.
So you're trained in doing it?
Yes.
And when the meters are not functioning properly, they give you an indication as such?
Yes, they have codes, error codes that come up on the screen.
Okay, if I can direct your attention to December 30th, 2014, at approximately 13:42 hours, were you on duty that day?
Yes, I was.
Do you remember issuing a parking ticket to a black BMW four-door with New Hampshire registration 365ET99?
Yes.
If my may approach now.
Mhm.
State would like to, do you recognize this?
Do you need to see that?
No, I do not.
Yes.
What is this?
It's a parking ticket that is produced by our handheld devices.
The statement has to just be marked as exhibit.
Any objections?
No objections.
The 2, 3, 4.
And if you don't mind looking at State's Exhibit 4, can you tell by looking at that where that vehicle was parked at the time of the infraction?
Yes. Winchester Street,
And it was at a meter?
meter number 40, yes.
And what is that infraction for?
For the expired meter.
Was there any indication that that meter wasn't functioning properly that day?
No.
And based on the expiration, you issued the said ticket?
Correct.
And when you issued that ticket, what steps did you take?
I checked the vehicle to make sure there wasn't any handicap placard or we now have the Park Mobile, so I had to check my phone to make sure it can come up on the Park Mobile and it hadn't been prepaid. And it was not, so I issued the ticket.
Thank you. Your state has no further questions.
What's the park mode?
You can pay by credit card. You can pay for parking, and you put your registration number.
You can pay a parking ticket that way? Or?
No, you can pay for your parking space.
I see, okay.
So your meter may be expired, but you pay for it.
I see. Okay, all right. Any questions?
No questions for this
Okay.
witness.
Have a seat. Thank you. Anything else? That's the state's case. Did you have any witnesses or any evidence?
No.
Okay. All right, well, the state's burden has been met here. All three complaints are struck to default on that other one. And
Thank you.
but he'll be findings on the three based on the state of the evidence. What are these findings here?
I believe they're $5 a piece.
All right, that's $15. You paying that today?
I'm prepared to pay that $15 today. Can I just give it to Officer Short?
No, he doesn't need it. Just go to the window, take care of it, please.
Okay, the front window?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
Dean?
Huh?
I had just a separate question for you. You all sit there. I've got exhibits from Mr. Cleveland that are sitting in my office. I haven't seen him in a long time to give them back to him. Do you happen to know where he?
He runs a business in town.
Is he? I just haven't seen him in court or anything. But tell him if you see him, I've got those exhibits from that trial we had. He's welcome, and I don't think he appealed it, so I think he's entitled to those.
He did appeal, but what happened was he never got notice from the court, and so they sent it back here for a remand hearing.
Never.
I
haven't seen that.
I know he had some difficulties out of state, which may have hampered his getting notice. I can't speak.
All right,
to
never
it.
mind. I thought I took a look at it. I thought he had not appealed, so I was going to give everybody their exhibits back, but I'll hold on to them.
Okay.
Thanks. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We'd like to invite you to visit freekeen.com. Freekeen.com features audio, video, and blogs chronicling the transition to a voluntary society. Freekeen.com also has comments and discussion forums so you can be heard. Freekeen.com.
I should be in Keene, New Hampshire with the Free Staters.